So the stream is going live. Okay, cool. So hi everyone. It's really, really cool to see you today. I'm here with Jack, and we're going to be giving you a live update about how it's going with Urban. You'll be able to, post questions either here or on the forum. We hope that we'll be able to answer as many questions as possible during this update, but if you have more, you can always reach out to us later on, and we'll be happy to answer that. So Jack, over to you so that you can give everyone an update.
Hi everyone. Firstly, I hope you're all keeping well. It's certainly a really unusual time at the moment, and for the past sort of 4 to 5 weeks, especially at Urban HQ, we've been making some radical steps and changes in the business, and lots have been going on. So thanks for taking time to catch up. As I know, it's a bit of a difficult situation at the moment. I think for me, I wish you all are keeping well, and families, friends, that being the most important during these times. And I think with anything like this, it's solidarity and sort of continuing on focusing on what we're doing and as a company, and what you're doing for your clients is it's there's a lot of meaning behind that, and we soon will be behind all of this, and we'll shortly see the light at the end of the tunnel. So welcome today, and thank you for joining. So I guess like today we have a few topics that we want to cover, and I think Elsa is co-hosting with me today on some of the key topics that you have posted on the questionnaires. So thank you. And I guess, yes, Elsa, do you want to run through the questions, and then I will then answer them, each one of them.
Sure. First of all, what a lot of you have been asking is, how is Urban doing? How we're doing financially, how well the digital services are doing. First touched on that with Jack. And the second theme that we're gonna talk about is what does the future looks like post-corona for Urban, for you guys, and how do we make this work together? At the end, we're also gonna try and answer some of the questions that you may have, and I can see already that a lot of you are interacting on the live chat on the side, which is really cool. So at the end, we'll try to answer if we do if we do have some time. So Jack, do you wanna start with how we're doing financially, and how the digital services are doing financially, and maybe maybe also feel free to at some point put this put the slide down so that we can see your full face. I think people wants to see each other as much as they can lately, and we're sorry we can't see you all, but that was the only way for us to give you access, without any restrictions. So Jack, over to you about how Urban is doing.
Hey everyone, I just realized that there is a comments feed, so I've just been reading through. Hi Jonathan, hi Helen, hi Sophie, Anna, Dragos, hi everyone. So I didn't notice this. I'm just looking at my other screen at the moment. So it's great that we're seeing so many amazing faces here today. Thanks, Elsa, for your question. I guess the first thing is that, it's no secret that by shutting down the platform meant that, obviously, firstly, for our practitioner partners, your businesses are impacted. It was a very tough decision, but we believe that was the right decision to make in doing our part to help the recovery and stop and slow down the spread of the virus. And whilst you're not making money, our business, the platform, also doesn't make any money. So it has been very difficult for the business, especially for us, for the last, since we've closed down. But more importantly, it's been very difficult for you as our partners as well. We also, one thing is that, our business is not a profitable business right now. We're still loss making. We have been going for about 6 years now, and we have been reliant purely on external financing and investors to fund the innovation and the continuous development of our business and the platform as well for all of you. And we invest heavily across engineering, across marketing, across everything. And so I guess what happens, what's the additional impact to us being not profitable and also Corona, is that it meant that our business had to raise further financing. So we've gone back to our investors, and of course they've been supportive with us for the last 6 years and ongoing, and we have fortunately secured further funding initiatives to effectively fill that void for us during this period. And really, the money that's been invested that we received recently is to effectively help us to weather through this situation. Unfortunately, some of the government announcements around CBIL, government loan schemes, we're not eligible for any of this stuff because we're not profit-making business without any sort of years of profitability that they can lend against. And so we had to go back to our investors and ask for more money to help us to go through this. There are a couple of other things that we've done internally as well. Firstly, I've taken a complete pay cut for the whole duration of this period, and also across the business as well. We've taken quite drastic changes across the business. One thing for certain is that for me, personally, I think just morally from a company as well, we have utilized as much as we can across the government support. And really sort of preventing any of our team members sort of being made unemployed in any way. So we've navigated the situation well. We have received further funding and support from our investors. So we're here to stay. Certainly, our mission now is really focusing on, as soon as we hear more about developments of the easing of the lockdown, we can then start getting the platform up and running as soon as possible. And there's a lot of work that's being done at the moment about how do we imagine the new world's going to be, and what customer concerns might be around hygiene potentially, and the economic recession, how it might impact new customers, and all these different things that we're thinking about and we're really preparing for at the moment.
Brilliant. Thank you, Jack. Did you want to give an update as well about how digital services are going? I know a lot of our were interested in having more numbers and understanding how this might come alongside the home business in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. So, so I guess that the timeline was when we. So when Corona hit Europe, the first case happened. We already quite far ahead in terms of the contingency plans of our business, for the HQ staff, for the community, for the platform, for across UK and France as well, and all markets across the UK. And it was a pretty big undertaking in terms of how we trigger that plan, and there are a lot of particular details that we need to navigate across. And I guess on the digital side of things is, we we explored a number of different sort of routes that we could go down. And I think different businesses have chosen different routes. And particularly for us at Urban, we decided to go down a route where we don't know how well and how successful it will be, but at least we know that we'll be doing everything that we can to provide a continuation of a platform where we know customers and practitioners can continue to be connected and offer their services. And this is the philosophy of what Urban is all about, in terms of, us providing the tools and the infrastructure and everything that you need to then help you to run your business as best as you can. And launching digital was one thing that we felt that we could move very quickly on. We mobilized the entire company behind this initiative, and we turned it around within 1 week. And we then provided effectively, a coverage of, I think, approximately 65% of our community were able to offer something that will be relevant to the skill sets they had. And so we offered that opportunity to everyone in the community, at least the majority of the community, to be able to offer something. And now I know that it's very difficult, the core of the business is massage, and it's very difficult to offer massages digitally, other than consultations and so on and so forth, and self massages. And it's a really tricky balance, but we went down this route because we believe that it will allow a lot of the community to continue to offer something to the customers. Now, in terms of the traction, in terms of the volume of bookings at the moment, it's still very, very early days. Nowhere near to the scale and volume that massage and the physical services, beauty services, the fitness services that we've inherently offered through the platform. In the good days, we're looking at 20,000 plus bookings a month for these physical at-home services. And of course, digital is, at the moment, it's really in the hundreds, right? We're looking at, 350 or so bookings at the moment. So it's very, very small in comparison to what the physical services, is and what it was. But we believe that, in the short run, during COVID, we have something that's tangible, that's something that, people can participate in and continue to maintain that relationship. And at the same time, I think there is a lot of long-term investment here as well, because I guess, when you look at digital, it really unlocks the world of possibility in terms of where you can conduct your business and who you can reach. And, whilst the volume of bookings are still very early and small comparatively to what we were doing in physical services, what was really exciting for me is seeing practitioners being able to deliver treatments cross-border. We've been seeing bookings that have been happening in, your customers that weren't even within the service areas that we are in today, booking services digitally. And I think that has a lot of really interesting scope to it in the future. And I think we're leaning on something that could be quite interesting for us. So I think, that's how it's been so far. It's been, early. We have some early traction from it, but really we're looking at it more in the mid to long term in terms of what digital can bring as well. There's a lot of questions here and a lot of posts. I'm going to quickly catch up as well. There's so many comments. It's amazing. Wow. Okay. So offer free press by offering energy massages, free massages, discounts, online services which are a bit more diverse. Barb. Okay, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of questions, so thank you everyone. It's amazing to see the level of engagement. Yeah, I mean, in terms of, so Natalie, in terms of offering a more diverse scope of services. So again, this is something that we're adding more and more services, and really a lot of that is driven by the community. So, please, participate in the community and sort of suggest any other treatments that you feel that can be relevant digitally. And, for sure we can bring that internally and then hopefully make it happen as soon as possible as well.
Yeah, if I can add
Um,
this as well, in terms of the digital services, it's been, like the focus that we've put on them was to make sure we had as many of you offering these services, of course, but also had to make sure that the services we were going to launch were going to generate bookings, not only for the practitioners that we were that would be partnering with us, and with a lot of free content being out there at the moment, we really had to make sure that we weren't just launching stuff to launch stuff, and that was able to truly support you when offering these treatments. That brings me to the third part of this section, which would be, the support that we've decided to put in place for the community, and why didn't we do things differently. So in regards to that, I think very, very early on, first of all, I want to say thank you to you all for being the community that you are today, because you are truly the reason why we've been able to approach COVID as we did it. To be very honest with you, you were the first ones probably in the country to react and take this thing seriously as it was. And I'm talking about maybe a month before the government have been, addressing the matter in the way they have. You were already asking questions about how to handle it, and how we could support you in keeping safe. And I think having followed this with you the whole time, we would not have reacted as quickly as we've had if we didn't have you. So first of all, thank you for that, because it's really allowed us to be ahead of the curve, to be planning further, to be able to also think about how we could help you through this. In terms of the things that we've put in place for the community, I mean, you're all aware of this. We've tried to launch digital services to keep you working as much as we could. We like more recently, we've launched a program of events as well, so that you could carry on being in touch with the outside world, with your community. And that's really definitely looking at the comments that's been happening on the community forum and the way we're exchanging. Another thing that is going to happen on Monday is a webinar, which is going to be in the style of this one. Where we're going to be able to try and answer your most frequently asked question about the financial support that is out there. I think, with a few of you asked questions on the forum about why we didn't, put out a financial help for the therapists in needs, or why we didn't raise funds for the community to be supported financially. The answer is very simple about this. The first one, we couldn't financially support the community in a meaningful way. And I think the key word here is meaningful. There's about 1,600 of you in the UK active today, and that would have meant we would have had to raise a huge amount of money to do that. And the reality is that it's probably not something that would have been realistic, and therefore we wouldn't have been able to support you in a meaningful way. And as Jack said, we are a business still relying on external finance to grow. So I wanted to be very transparent with you. Believe us, if we could, we would have done it. But honestly, I'm very, very proud to see the community keeping engaged and positive, and helping each other out. That makes me really, really proud. So yeah, in terms of like one of the biggest questions that everybody's got is what happens next? When can we hope to start offering home services again? So Jack, I'll hand over to you on this one. And by the way, if you want to stop sharing your screen so that the community can see your face in a big way, that'd be great.
Okay, here you go. Is that better? Can you see me better?
There is a 20-second lag, so we're probably going to find out in 20 minutes. In 20
okay. All right, okay. So I saw some comments as well around some of the partnerships that we've formulated as part of the digital services. Just want to quickly cover that point as well, because it's an important one, and why we've done it, and what does it mean for the business. I think the overarching thing is that we during the digital period, we and during COVID, we have to significantly reduce our marketing expenditures, because effectively there's no point spending money on marketing when we can't deliver services. But I think what's important is that during this time, we shouldn't sit still and not continue to further our urban brand, and to further getting new customers to come and download the app, start browsing, understanding how urban works, and trying it for the first time. Because the more people we get doing that, the more people there will be, the size of the people there will be when we come back into reactivation. So we've selected and partnered with a few sort of well-known fitness studios like Frame, Core Collective, and so on. And the idea is that these brands are working or have customers that are very relevant to urban customers, and each of these partnerships, they're bringing their customer community onto the urban platform and downloading the app and creating the account and so on and so forth. Which means that when we come back into the old normal, and when we start bringing in physical services back again, that will then help only accelerate that process further. So hopefully you understand, why we've taken the time to really develop our relationships with some of the fitness studios out there, and continue to develop on our brand and the relationships with customers. And so that hopefully that answers your question. I guess on the topic of kind of segueing into when we will and how we will bring the physical services back. I think that's very important. That's the number one most important thing on our agenda. And I think when you start thinking about going and reactivating the business back into normality, there are a couple of things that we need to consider. And I want to be very transparent with you in terms of how we think about the world like post-COVID, because there are a lot of experiences that we as an economy, we as consumers, as practitioners, as people, have gone through a pretty radically, sort of black swan type situation that we've never experienced. Most of us have never experienced in a lifetime. But then what does it mean in terms of like customer behavior and practitioner behavior? And I guess I'll address a little bit more on customer behavior and how we would predict that will look like. So firstly, I think the really good thing is that, we work as a community, we work as a collective, and, we've been able to work together in sort of good partnership in a way. And thanks to that, we've been able to build a business where each month, 70% of bookings come from repeat customers. So the reason why we make the platform, the whole way of how urban works in a way that's that's the relation between you and your customers is so interconnected, is because it drives repeat customer behavior. And so because we've done this, compared to other platforms out there, compared to other businesses out there that doesn't have this relationship, we have an advantage to recover the business back to normality. However, whilst we have this key dynamic and characteristic of our business, we have to be mindful of a couple of things. So firstly, customers will be very anxious. They will be very anxious because of hygiene. right? Because you can't see this invisible virus. It's very, very difficult, and it creates anxiety for customers. And so hygiene and standards will be so paramount in the success of our recovery, but also success of our business together as well. So Elsa will, and the community team will share more about how we're thinking about it. Everything from, what protocols and what changes can we make within the app. Can we leverage and utilize the Edumi learning management system to then get everyone certified in a way to do hygiene training, and then also to the extent that we are currently exploring, can we mass buy and mass purchase, PPE equipment and sort of, facial masks and hand sanitizers, so that we can get the economies of scale as a platform. So I think that's such an important piece. Our marketing team, our communication team are working through this tirelessly in terms of the communication. I think also, delivering services to homes, that line of business will be eased, I hope, way before the traditional salons, because obviously salons are gathering in 5, 10, 20 plus people in one place. Delivering a service to homes not only provides extra protection for you, but also for the customers as well. So I think we're thinking a lot about how to protect the community. We're thinking about also things like, maybe we need to do a partnership with Zipcar. Maybe we have to, so that you can then travel privately on a private mode transport. We're negotiating with them. We're looking at ways that we can maybe have to reduce your service areas, encourage you to reduce your service areas. So then you're traveling less and less, so that we match you with the closest customer to reduce any potential, risks that's unnecessary, right? So we're thinking a lot about these different things that are important. And really that's a really important thing to think about for us when we think about recovery, about hygiene. The second thing that we have to be mindful of is that, we are currently in a recession, right? So we're in a recession that is actually worse than the Great Depression, really very much really there. And I believe we'll have a strong economy. I believe that we will recover, a V-shaped recovery. So really a quick rebounding back. And I think there's a lot of confidence. And I think, staying positive is going to be the most important thing, staying positive, and we will really get through this together. And that will encourage confidence and people to recover faster and faster and faster. But we have to be mindful. So we have to be mindful in terms of potential dampening of new customers joining, because they're a bit more frugal and thinking about, keeping as much money as possible. And these are the things that we have to be considered of. And so, for Urban, we will do what we can, and we will, do absolutely what we can, and pull up all the tricks that we can, marketing, everything that we've learned in the last 6 years, to really push the recovery. And the partnership that I mentioned about will also voice that recovery, because these are the people, we're capturing customers and users who are, very much the Urban customers that might not have ever used Urban before. And now, because of these partnerships, they are aware of Urban, and they will start using Urban much more habitually, which is very, very important as well.
So if I can add a bit to it, Jack, Jovel asked a question on the live saying, what are you going to do for the next 3 weeks? Essentially, my jobs and Yasmin is going to be getting you set up for when we get back to home bookings. And we will, I think there's a few things there. There will be definitely something around hygiene. There's definitely going to be something around reducing travel, and essentially we are working on how do we do that, how do we make we set the community up for success, so that our customers are really, really confident that using Urban and using your services is actually safer and is safer for real than going to salon or going to spa or anything like this. I can guarantee you the first thing I'm doing is booking a massage, because my posture's been awful sitting at my home desk here. So, I know that everyone is going to be in the same mind frame, and we just need to make sure that we do as much as we can to enable customer to trust these type of services, and know that they're safe again. So yeah, I'm gonna be in touch probably next week or the week after at the latest, and I'll let you know, okay, here are the next steps. This is what we're gonna put in place to enable you to deliver this safely. And again, guys, you've posted a lot on the forum about how you saw and perceive safety in this type of environment, so in this type of situation. So I'm going back to previous conversation, just looking at what you commented, and making sure that I also suggest to the internal teams whatever you guys have suggested back then. I think that's very important.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the comments as well. There's a lot of really great ideas here, and so thank you all very much. In terms of like, will the app show who are drivers and who are using public transport? Like, these are the different ideas that will absolutely help support the hygiene anxiety that customers would have. And absolutely, this is what we're working on at the moment. So there are going to be a number of different things, and in regards to like the hygiene courses, we're going to look at really kind of creating something as accessible as possible for everyone. And so we're definitely doing what we can, and if there's any other ideas and suggestions, like, please, like, send them to us, like, post it on the forum, because like we're able to, similar to how we have reacted to COVID, and the way that we reacted and suspended, and the way that we managed that process was very much driven by the community. And so equally for the recovery, we are very much inviting you all to make your suggestions. And we are already making a lot of progress on this topic, and we are preparing, hopefully. And I mean, the easings and constant moving goalposts, but we are constantly listening and sort of staying updated to what government guidelines are, and making sure that as and when that is announced, we are already prepared to execute and get you all back up and running as possible. And to that end as well, we will certainly reach out to your customers who have obviously missed you for treatments, and ensuring that they can then help you to start rebuilding your pipeline of work for the coming weeks and months or so. So we'll be in touch. No doubt the community team are working tirelessly to make sure that we're all staying up to date, and you'll hear from us like as soon as possible as when we'll bring the business back up and running.
So I think there was a question, from Natalie about, do you think we're going to have to reduce massage prices when we go back?
I don't, in terms of massage prices, I don't think we need to reduce prices, because the thing is that, and again, I think this is something that we should all work on together, but what's important is that we are helping, you and your business and your customers to be able to book you again. And how we look at pricing is actually quite sophisticated, because there are a lot of leading indicators like conversion rates, bounce rates, repeat rates, cohorts, and that there's a lot of different indicators that signal what the market price should be, and that's why we constantly work with the community to set prices, and to then use that information, the many millions of data points that we have, to adjust the right ones. Now, we don't know what that new world's going to be. It might be that people just are not sensitive to it, because urban service is a little bit more premium than what you would get traditionally, and there's a bit of a premium because it's delivered to your home, right? And so naturally, I think, and naturally with that, as well as with the 70% of repeat customers who book you because of you, not because of anything else, I don't think pricing change will matter too much. But I might be proven wrong, and might, we might have to have a conversation at some point. But for me, I want to make sure the prices stay the same, because then that helps you and your business to recover as fast as we can. And no doubt we'll be putting a lot of effort behind pushing that demand, pushing their customers, and pushing those bookings, and very, very aggressively as well. So we're in a very strong place. Certainly, we are the largest community in the UK. We have the most amount of support from investors, and in terms of we have 85 staff that are on payroll. And so that costs a lot of money when you're not making any money. But we're very thankful for our investors who are funding us to be here, and making sure, my personal number one priority is making sure that we get your business back up and running, because you being successful means that we can then be back up and running as well, right? So that's how we think about it.
Okay, there was another question too, actually, about this topic, on whether you could, whether Urban could help us train to be able to deliver digital services. So I'm gonna pick that one, if that's okay. So I'm looking, as part of what we're putting out for the community, I'm looking at a lot of different options. Online training is not a straightforward one, because unfortunately that might be true after this crisis, but before this crisis, online training is not as extensive as what it could be in person. So I'm looking at various options, and if I do recommend training, is because it's going to be something that is going to be truly meaningful and is going to be able to train you in the right way. For now, I haven't found any that would make this happen. But I've got that always in mind, and anything that you might want to suggest or want to check if you would be eligible to offer digital services, if you trained with X, Y, and Z provider, just send it across, and I can help answer that question. So yeah, Natasha is asking which digital services is the most popular. I think it's personal training, Jack.
Yeah, personal training and yoga has been pretty popular, and I think that's because it's very much tied into the whole philosophy of massage therapy, and so people are missing that a lot. A lot of customers have reached out, and we see through the customer network and communities, like can't wait to get the massage again, like when things are back to normal. And so I see here that there's also suggestions around offering a comeback work from home tightness massage over a couple of periods. I mean, these are fantastic ideas, and so thank you, and definitely the marketing team are thinking exactly on these lines, in terms of how do we potentially get your favorite customers coming back and booking you for a course of treatments and coming back and whatever it might be. And so again, please post these ideas, because these are all nuggets and kernels of something that could be amazing and could be really, really impactful for the community. And so I encourage that, but yeah, I mean, it might be that we can run some sort of promotion or packages, which I think would be really, really good idea as well. Yeah, so I think it's a lot of a lot of really good comments here. So thank you. I'm really, really grateful for the level of engagement. I didn't expect that many people coming online and commenting. So I'm very, very grateful for this as well.
Yeah, it's really cool. To be honest, it's the first time we do this.
Yeah.
And I think we're probably going to do it more often, because it's actually pretty easy. There is I wish we could have one giant Zoom meeting with like 100 of you. Unfortunately, Zoom is limiting to 100 participants. So that's why we didn't pick But you know, if you want us to kind of have a massive chat or drinks over Zoom, or you know, like discussing some nice topics, then let me know through the forum, and I can look into how we can organize that. But yeah, thank you for really like being active and you know, just being there today. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
So someone asked, will you be selling shares for Urban again in the future?
So it's a really good question. So in short, I guess like why. So we've been sort of working with you know, a few sort of major investors that invest in technology and lifestyle and wellness, and those investors are sort of financial investors. They look at it as really sort of black and white. For me, it's very functional when we raise money from them. And you know, as you remember, we did a Seeders campaign back in 2018, I believe it was, and it was a phenomenal campaign. We had, you know, tremendous amount of support. Over 3.5 million pounds was raised within 2-week period, and really why we did that campaign was about, you know, making sure that Urban, you know, staying true to the community spirit that we embody as a company, and there is no better way to be part of the community in a way that's vested, so that you are aligned with the overall sort of successes of the company as a whole, as a platform as a whole. And for me, for me, the vision since, you know, when we first started in 2014 in a 2-bedroom apartment in Ealing Broadway, where Giles and I, we shared a flat, and that was our office and our flat. And you know, it's always been a global vision for the company, and it's taken longer to go global and taken longer time to do that because we want to do things right before we kind of becoming too far and overextend ourselves. But in short, to answer your question, you know, yes, we are looking to do something again soon. I don't know exactly when, but we will definitely let you know. And again, you know, it's really about, you know, if you feel you want to be part owners of the company, is an opportunity to be there as well. But yeah, we'll definitely let you know. I don't have a definite date yet, but I would like to do another one very soon as well.
So there was another question from Dragos. Hi, Dragos. About while we know that Urban was not really able to help us financially, why did we not create a GoFundMe page for our practitioners? So yeah, Jack, do you want to answer that one?
Sure. So I think, you know, going back to Elsa's point, you know, we are still very heavily reliant on external financing because we're not profit making at the moment. You know, I think anyone is open to looking at our accounts online, and you know, each year we make a loss around 3.5 to 4 million every year, and that sort of gap is filled by external funding. And we're not profit making, we're loss making still, is because we believe that, you know, the mission of, you know, making wellness accessible, you know, to masses, like we're still nowhere near there, right? We're still investing heavily in marketing, getting more business for our partners like yourself, and really making sure the technology holds up, it works well, and you know, all these different things cost a lot, and because we have to hire, you know, really highly skilled people to do that. And so, you know, for me personally, if I had it any other way, I would want to make sure that we can provide some form of financial support. But I think, as Elsa said, it needs to be meaningful, because us, you know, giving a few £100, it's not gonna, you know, for us, it will equate to millions. But for individuals, we felt that wasn't the best use of the money, because we know that if we invested the same money into ensuring the team that you know and has been there to support you during the old time is still here, we can then be in the strongest position to get your businesses back and up and running with physical services as fast as possible and as best as possible. Because really, if we don't do that well, and we have half the size of the team, or we had to compromise on different parts of our business, it will mean that recovery will be far slower, and therefore the long-lasting impact on your business will be much more expensive, or much more damaging in the long run. And so really the objective is really bringing that back up as fast as we can, and that's the reason being. The second around, sorry, go.
I think Drago's question was more around why did we not ask our customers to sponsor their offered to our customer to sponsor their favorite therapist through funds.
Yeah, so I think it's again a simple sort of route of direction that we went into, and this is one route that some businesses have taken, and I know from speaking to some of the businesses that it's been it's been sort of somewhat it varied in terms of results, in terms of some practitioners have had some success and some practitioners have not much success, right? But fundamentally, it goes back to that decision. We have a limited amount of resource, time, and effectively, people. And so what do we fundamentally believe was the thing that would, help the majority of people? Because we had to make the decision: do we put our team behind building a a fundraising page and going down this route, or do we go down the route of enabling the majority of our community to be able to deliver a service and continue to deliver some form of services to its customers? The tipping functionality is still working, so that doesn't change, and customers can go back to previous bookings and continue to tip and so on and so forth. But that's I guess the route that we've taken is to really build something that was that allowed the majority of the community to be able to have that opportunity to deliver a service and continue having income stream. And again, as I say, I think funding pages are great as well, but again, having I think it's something that we certainly think that the resource, if we really put the same amount of resource and attention to the comeback and making that as best as possible, that will supersede anything else. And if we divert our attention, it would compromise something. So we just had to. I think the difficulty is really about the fine balance of resource, and how do we make that balance as effective as possible.
Okay, thank you, Jack. So looking at your questions, guys, I think we've answered pretty much all of the main questions. Please ask more now, so I can see if there is things that we've missed. So Sophie said,
I think there's a comment that's come up a few times about NHS. So yeah, thanks for flagging this one, because we've been debating internally, how do we support the NHS and thanking them. Again, we've got various different ideas, and we know that also the positive intentions is always been really about contributing and making our mark, contribute towards that. But I think it's important that we get this right as a community, because right now there are a lot of services being offered to the NHS, and I think it's been fantastic. we've been debating on how can we support them as well. So we'd love to hear your thoughts on this one, during COVID and also post-COVID. So, I think there's one comment about, can we, support the NHS staff, like, with discounted massages, and keep them going strong, and that they are needing some TLC. So thanks, Sophie, for this comment. I absolutely agree with you, and we definitely have been thinking a lot how we can support the NHS. So maybe we can create a thread on the forum and some ideas of how we can do this as well. There's some comments about information about corporate clients. So, corporate clients, a lot of the corporate bookings have been postponed, obviously because of the working from home situation. However, there has been quite a lot of demand for again, digital services. So I know again, around mindfulness, mental health services have been very, very popular with corporate clients. And so if you can deliver corporate services and through digital as well, like, please get in touch with the team, because there's definitely something there as well. Can you do anything with regards to testing for corona, and then also a question around crystal healing services? So thanks for those questions as well. Testing for corona, I mean, as part of the PPE, we are investigating, like, what can we get out there, and there's a lot of there's a lot of things that are floating out. So we're keeping our eyes and ears open, and to understand what's available, and certainly we don't have the answer at the moment on this one, but I know that there's been speculation around getting sort of like immunity certificates, which has been sort of more sort of in the press, but again, we're investigating a lot into some of this stuff and supporting that hygiene anxiety that customers will naturally have. Crystal healing, yeah, I mean, again, like, we, a lot of the services are driven through the community, and we don't currently have crystal healing on the roadmap, but again, if there is demand, and there are a lot of therapists available for it, Reiki as well, and other things. I think really, again, post in the forum, and we'll get, like, the category management team to look into these different categories as well. I think one thing what's important is that we strike the right balance between what customers want, because we don't want to make sure that there is the demand for it on the urban platform existing, and making sure there's enough work for everyone that's coming through as well. So yeah, so I think there's a lot of really good questions, and I don't know how much time we have, Elsa, but maybe we'll move this onto the forum, and we could answer those separately then.
Yeah, I think what we're gonna do is I'm gonna gather all of the questions, just make sure that look at which one we've answered and which one we have not answered, and I'm gonna start threads on the forum to address those. I mean, you can also start threads on the forum too. I know you're very familiar on how to do that. So
yeah.
So feel free to use that platform. You've been using even more. I mean, Yasmin and I are still looking after it on a daily basis, whether it's raining, whether it's snowing, whether it's weekend, holidays, and everything. So we're here for you. And in terms of the question about whether this is going to be a weekly event, I mean, I think maybe. I think what we should, what I'd like to do is something where we have meaningful, updates to give you, and we can absolutely keep using this type of channel. And if you want more like kind of FaceTime events with the community and something more relaxed, please again suggest it on the forum. I sent you a survey to ask what you guys would like to do on a more fun side of things, because you know, like we can also do this thing too. So please share it on the forum, and of course I'll have a look at it, and then we can do a weekly Zoom community session all together and see each other faces. That'd be cool. But as far as the updates, you know, like we'll probably do some more before everything goes back to normal, but we'll schedule it as when we will have, you know, true content to deliver to the community, and you know, hopefully good news to share with you.
Yeah, perfect. And I mean, we've been touching on a few topics today, and so we can definitely take that you know, onto the forum. And with regards to, you know, bringing the business back online, that's the key focus for us at the moment. So, you know, we are looking at, you know, this topic very, very intensively. So, you know, if you have any suggestions, I saw one around mandating the wearing, you know, PPE equipment. Equally as well, we want to encourage the customers, or ask the customers, to wear a facial mask during the treatment. So, you know, it needs to work both ways to protect you and the customers. So, you know, the lot of, sorry.
And in regards to hygiene and PPE equipment and all of this,
Yeah.
if you missed that earlier, like, you know, Yasmin and I are working on solutions already. We're trying to find the best ways to, you know, to give you access to those, to prep you, you know, with hygiene trainings and all of this, recommend products. So, you know, like, we'll be in touch as soon as we've got like something organized for you, so that you can go back up onto the platform, you know, feeling safe, and your customer being very happy with the approach that we've taken hygiene wise. So yeah, these are not as straightforward as they seem, since even the NHS is struggling to get those, but we are really trying to be ahead of the curve, and we're on this. Absolutely, it's on my to-do list. It's been for the last couple of weeks already. So
Yeah. There's a joke going on about Ghostbusters. I think yeah, I mean, probably not to that extent, but yeah, I mean, as safe as possible, and for yourself and the community. I think also one thing to promote, just finally before I close, is Elsa and the team are here working tirelessly to support you. So I'd like to just publicly thank Elsa and Yasmin on this as well, and the rest of the team who have been absolute troopers in these times. But also they put together a really comprehensive sort of plan for you all to be part of the yoga sessions and meditation sessions, you know, this event today. So you know, without the team, you know, this won't be possible. So thank you so much for putting this together, and thank you all for joining us today and listening to both of us. So thank you, and take care and keep safe. Yeah.
You know, let's keep in touch, and this live is gonna be available to rewatch, or, you know, to share with I share it on the forum with the community to for those that couldn't attend this. But, you know, so far we've had about 80 people watching on and off, so that's really cool to see the engagement today. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Very soon. Bye.
Bye. Bye.